Hey, welcome to Sipper Social Club. I'm Jeremy. Today, I'm bringing to you something very, very special. Distilled 1977, bottled 2016. This is a 38-year-old Brora, coming in at 48.6% ABV. This is a very special occasion pour for me tonight. I'll let you know why when I nose this, taste it, and give it a mark. Alright, the famous Brora Distillery. If you're unaware, they have long since closed down. They stopped operating in 1983. Diageo brings out some special releases of Brora stuff every so often. Like I said, this is a 2016 release. All refill casks. Refill American Oak and refill European Oak. I haven't gone to this bottle in a very long time. I first cracked this with some very good friends back when I was celebrating reaching the 10,000 subscriber milestone on YouTube. I thought it'd be fitting when I reached the 20,000 milestone subscriber rate to do a review of this. I haven't touched this in 10 months, not until a couple weeks back when I started doing my notes on it, and wanted to save it for a special occasion as this is. Let's get into it on the nose. This has been sitting for about an hour, and I'll get into why that's necessary later, but for now, on the nose. Very, very unique nose. First thing you get, lots of lemon. Lemon coming in lots of different ways. Lemongrass, lemon, like a sweet candy style lemon, and then like lemon loaf. Incredible. Next thing, come up with a little bit of like sea salt, almost like saltwater taffy almost. And then like morning dew, like fresh grass, morning dew note, awesome. Then you go into like some farm-like aspects to this, so like some damp hay, some like earth, soil. There's so much stuff in the nose. When I was doing my notes for this, I spent so much time just like digging and digging and digging, and more stuff kept coming out. Each time you go back to this, it's a little bit different each time. Incredible whiskey. It's like Asian spices, leather. Incredible. Love this nose. This is one that you spend so much time with. This is a 2-hour pour, for sure. For the sake of review, let's go Palate. Unbelievable palate, unbelievable finish. So many depths of flavor happening. The lemon carries over to the palate. Now it turns more like dessert style, like lemon meringue pie. Incredible note. Love that. The honey comes over as well. Lots of different kinds of honey here. Like sweet honey and more like a rugged, kind of like dirty honey, if that makes any sense. The farm notes, that damp hay, turns into like a smoked hay. So the peat in this, very subtle peat, but it comes through as like a nice smoked aspect on the finish. There's just so much with this. It's truly exceptional. And each time you sip it too is a little bit different. So it keeps evolving, keeps changing. It's a very, very challenging whiskey. And what I mean by that is that you really have to spend some time, really dig into it. When I poured these, doing my notes, like I said, it's 2 hours. It's a 2-hour pour. It's an hour on the nose and an hour on the palate, and it's not a whiskey you can just grab off the shelf, pour it, nose it, and drink it, because you're not going to experience what this thing has to offer. You might not even think it's that amazing of a whiskey if you rush this thing. This thing, the full complexity of it needs to come out with time. And it really is rewarding when you spend that much time with it. It is very, very good. And there's lots of stuff in here that I'm not getting. There's lots of notes in this that I just can't pinpoint. And I think that's what I like a lot about it, is that it is that challenging whiskey where you just don't, I can't think of it. Like, I know what that is, but I can't verbalize what it is. and again, and then I go back to it, and now it's something else. And it just really is like a truly magical whiskey, and it's a whiskey that inspires you to try more whiskey. This is what, whiskey can do. This, it can come through and it can just hit you with different things, and then they're changing and they're different, and it's the complexity, the balance of everything. Even though these notes are all over the place, from spices to honey to farm to soil to grass. They seem like they're all over the place, but it just works. It works unbelievably well. Really, truly an exceptional pour, and it keeps changing and it keeps evolving. And I was really struggling doing these notes. I looked up Serge's review of this, Serge Whiskey Fun. If you're unaware, link in the description. Check him out. Probably one of the most highly regarded reviewers. I went to go look at his notes. I'm like, what are these things I'm getting? I just don't know. I gotta look at this guy's notes. Maybe we are getting the same thing, and we're not. If you look at his review, he's all over the place as well. I think he had new electronics as a note, and that's not on the nose. That's on the palate. So he tasted new electronics. That just shows you how insane this whiskey can be. So yeah, love the finish, love the palate, love the nose. I mean, there's really not much to say bad about this whiskey. I can say with a lot of certainty that this is definitely one of the most complex, most challenging, most enjoyable whiskey experiences that I've ever had. Really digging into this thing is just so much fun. Really enjoyed doing the notes on this the last couple of nights. Spoiled myself for sure. But I feel very fortunate to have this bottle. Score-wise for me, this is getting 95 out of 100. That is the highest mark I've ever given to whiskey on this channel. Well deserving. I was thinking about going to 96. 96 is the level where I consider it, the best of the very best. The meaning of life in a whiskey. I'm going to reserve that score. I don't know if I'll ever get something that competes with this. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Still young, still lots of time, still lots of whiskey to go through. But very confident in the score of 95 out of 100. The best score I have given on this channel. Let's talk value on this. I paid 1,100 Canadian dollars for this. The most expensive whiskey I have ever purchased. And that is an extraordinary good price for this whiskey. This usually goes for anywhere between $2,000 to $2,500, depending on where you look. In the States, you might be able to find this for maybe like around $1,600 US dollars. In the UK, 1,500 British pounds is what you're probably looking at in most areas. Prices do vary a lot. So how did I get this for essentially almost half price? The LCBO here in Ontario and in neighboring province Quebec are government run. Lots of disadvantages to having a government run liquor store. There are some advantages. One of those advantages is that they are willing to take a return on any product that is in resellable condition and that is still in their system as part of their inventory. So I had a Highland Park 30-year-old. The value that they wanted for that bottle was 2,000 Canadian dollars. $2,000 for a Highland Park 30-year-old, which usually goes for around, it used to go for around 900 Canadian. In other parts of the country and in the States, you can find it for 550 US dollars. So lots of value on returning that bottle and exchanging it for this, and that's exactly what I did. So I exchanged with the help of a very good friend, Devin. Cheers, buddy. Devin was going to Montreal. Montreal had this bottle in stock. I gave him my old Highland Park 30-year-old. I gave him the extra money to make up the difference. He went to Montreal for me, returned my Highland Park 30-year-old, and got this Brora for me. So yeah, thanks so much, Devin. So that's how I did it. I ended up paying the $900 for the Highland Park 30-year-old plus an extra couple hundred to make up the difference to get this. Couldn't pass up the opportunity just because when are you ever gonna find a Brora 38-year-old for 40% off, 45% off? Which kind of that's how I justified it in my head anyway. Sold some really good bourbon to pay for this bottle. I would do that any day of the week. As you know, the bourbon secondary market is what it is. Lots of value in a whiskey that will never touch what this whiskey can do. So yeah, wasn't that sad to see George T. Stagg go by the wayside to help pay for this. Do it every single time. So value. It's so hard to put values on whiskeys that I spend this much on, because even though I got a really good deal on it, it's still an $1,100 whiskey. I think if you gave me this blind, I would have to reduce it for value points, just because $1,100 is still a crazy amount of money. I'm going to take one mark off. I'm going to bring it from 95 back down to 94. But, I mean, I could easily be adding value to this because I got it at a good price. But I still think, even for that price, I'm still going to knock off a mark. 94 out of 100. But yeah, just on taste alone, this is for sure 95. Highest score I've ever given. And it'll be hard to top. Definitely hard to top this. This is just a crazy, crazy, crazy good whiskey. And I bet you it's going to be different each time I drink it, which is super exciting. I make this one last. I'll be drinking this for years to come. And yeah, I'm sure my last pour of it will be different than how this is right now. Excited to see how it changes. That's the magic of Scotch whiskey. That's why it is the best whiskey in the world. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment down below if you like this review. Give me a thumbs up. Until next time, guys, have a good one. Cheers.